Hey, my friends. It is so late. It's like 9 o'clock. I normally don't do makeup tutorials this late, but you never know. We might have some, I was going to say late bloomers, but that's not a thing. Late stayer-uppers, whatever. Anyways, we're going to do some makeup, but I wanted to share with you guys, my, my situation today. So, I went to my doctor today just for like a well woman checkup or whatever. Hey guys, hi. And so I went for a well woman checkup and she found a lump in my breast, but like not in the breast tissue, like where they normally where they normally scan for the lumps and stuff. So not in that area where like the breast tissue is, and not in the underarm area, right? But like right here, kind of above where the breast tissue is, but in like not under the armpit. And so there's like, she found a lump in my breast there, and she said it could be just like fatty tissue from where like I've lost a bunch of weight or whatever. But she wants me to go get an ultrasound, and there's breast cancer in my family. So I don't know. It's a little scary. Like I'm not, listen, like if the Lord, whatever the Lord's going to do, he's going to do. But, I don't know. It's just kind of nerve wracking, you know, and it makes you a little nervous. But she did find some on this side also. So she thinks that it very well could just be like fatty, like fat deposits or whatever. No, coffee's gross. I don't drink coffee at all. But there are little like nodules but they're in the same spot on both sides, and it's not in the actual breast tissue. So it's really interesting. So I tried to schedule for an ultrasound, right? So that they could like scan my breasts to see, like, to check for those, what do you call them, nodules or whatever. And they can't get me in until like October like 18th or something, and I'm like, that's like so anyways, I have too much anxiety for that. So I'm going to be 100% like completely focused on like trying to get a better, a better appointment day, like a sooner appointment day. I don't do caffeine. I know it's surprising because you'd think that I am like high on caffeine all the time, but this is baseline. Can you imagine me on caffeine? You guys, it would be through the roof. Like I would be like, pew, like I cannot do caffeine. This is baseline. I don't need any help. So no caffeine, no soda. I drink water. Yeah, I hope that it's just like fat deposits or like fat tissue or whatever. And then of course, because I just turned 40, she wants me to get a mammogram, which is standard. But I don't know. It's just really scary and a little bit crazy. So I don't know. Did you just lose a lot of weight? Yes. Okay, so yeah, I just lost 160 pounds. And so it's just, I don't know. I'm trying not to be nervous until there's something to be nervous about, but I am someone who worries and, overthinks and anxiety and all that stuff. So she wants me to get a mammogram, but she said, do the ultrasound first, like don't schedule them at the same time, because they'll bill you differently if you do them together. So my doctor was like, make sure you do the ultrasound first for the area where there's the lumps or whatever, and then schedule a mammogram after that. So she did order both of them. It happens when you lose a lot of weight. Well, that's what she said. So I'm just really interested in hearing like what they say. But yeah, I'll be calling around a lot. He said he was 34 patients, just lost a ton of weight and had fatty deposits. They had checked, all were clear. Thank you for saying that. Like, I'm really sure. I'm sure it's nothing. Like, it's nothing. It's nothing. Yeah, I'm a walking panic attack too. Yeah, if it's on both sides, I'm hoping that it just means that like, it's fine, whatever. Like, but it's fat necrosis. Okay, I'll have to look that up. But it's just like, it's not here on like the breast tissue, right? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get gross. It's not here like on the breast tissue, and it's not under the pit. It's just like right here in this area. So look into low carb or no carb. I don't do a lot of sugar. I try to do a lot of protein. Lymph nodes are not swollen. No, there's nothing swollen under my armpits or anything. But it's just like you normally do like the breast exams, right? And I'm hoping it's just the fatty tissue. So there's that. But anyways, aside from that, I did also start a new journey today that I wanted to share with you guys. So I'm going to do a makeup tutorial while I talk. So if you want to get color matched, you can just message me or whatever. Yeah, I don't do a lot of caffeine, and I eat sugar, but not like an exorbitant amount. Like I mostly try to eat like protein snacks and then get, filled up on that. I just got this today. I ordered it on Shein, and it's the Halloween colors, and I thought it was so cute. Yeah, I can't with medical stuff, and because my family, I have in my family there's a history of breast cancer, so I'm hoping that it's okay. Yes, 100% Molly Shannon, like hands in my pits. Wow, since you were 22? Does your insurance cover it because of whatever is going on with you or whatever? There's your treatment on your loose skin. I have the third treatment to go. I can't tell you there's a huge difference, but I do see a difference. But I don't know if it's because like it's hard to tell for me because I'm like, I know I got the treatment. So like, I'm wondering if it's a brain thing. Like, did it really work, or are you just thinking that it did because you had the treatment? But I noticed that they're not like as jiggly. So I'm hoping that it helps. Halloween Barbie blankets. No, text me with them, please. Wow. Okay. This is good information. Thank you guys for sharing your experiences. 27-year survivor. Praise God. Daughter had a normal. Okay. Yeah. She, that's what's it called? The BRCA gene. Is that what the BRCA is? Isn't that like the BRCA gene or something that they call it? I have a friend that just told me about that. But yeah, my doctor is really good too. Like she actually, when I went in to see her, I hadn't seen her in a year. Like you go, yearly, but I've been going to her since I was 20 and I'm 40 now. So and every time I see her, she gives me a big fat hug and she is like, how you doing? She wants to know how my baby's doing. And so, and I saw that she had shorter hair and I'm like, oh, wow. Like Dr. Jazz, you cut your hair. Like, it looks great. And she's like, I went through breast cancer and chemo. And I was like, no way. And she herself had experienced it. And it was just, I don't know. It was kind of crazy to like, I've been going to her for 20 years and now that she experienced this. And so it was a really kind of like I really trust her, and she's I guess like a friend, like not like, you know what I mean? Like she's really, really good to me. So yeah, listen, I will take any information. Like if you guys know stuff about like lumps in the breast and like the, losing weight, any information you can send. My husband calls me WebMD. Like I will diagnose myself on freaking WebMD and I'll be like, I have a headache, and it'll be like, you have a brain tumor. And so it's really, really bad. So I try not to do that too much, but if you have information, I will totally take it. I'm a private investigator too. Don't forget, like, you know what I mean? I love looking stuff up like that and kind of researching and knowing more about it. And then, when the doctors are talking, maybe have a little bit of knowledge of what's going on. So anyways, I'm experiencing that. And then I started at the gym today. So I don't know, like I lost 160 pounds and then now I'm starting at the gym. So it's kind of a bass-ackwards situation, right? And so I feel like this is going to be an experience that I want to share with others, because I feel like the gym for me, it's weird because when I was trying to go to the gym before, like if you want to lose weight, that's what you do. You get on a treadmill and shut your pie hole, right? Like that's what they say, like just stop, whatever. And so when I was, oh, wow. Okay. Wow. I'm totally going to do all of these things. Thank you so, so much. So the reason that this is the detail brush. It's got like that little flat edge. I'm using the edges to kind of add the details. See why they called it that? Because it's detailing. So here's the thing. I kind of went about my weight loss backwards. I was someone who wanted to lose weight, obviously, because I was like the ugly fat girl my whole life. And everybody's like, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat all day, every fucking day. They just tell you you're fat. And you're like, yeah, I know. Thank you. I don't need your help. Like, I got it. Right. Anyway, so when you're dealing with like food addiction and you have this like trauma, and food is like the only thing that doesn't hurt you in your whole life, right? So food is the one thing that you kind of lean on. Like food is your comfort. Food doesn't hurt you. And I never was like, I'm sad, I'm going to go eat food, right? But it was just like, I was always comfortable eating food. And so that's just the one thing that you don't want to eat less. Like that's your comfort. So anyways, obviously I gained a bunch of weight. I gained a bunch of weight as a private investigator. And, everybody continually tells you, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat, as if you don't already know and it's bad. And so then when you go to the gym, you're like, okay, I need to lose weight, right? But then it's like, I'm only going to the gym because people are telling me I'm fat. You never want to go to the gym, because you only really go to the gym when you're ready, right? And so when you're not ready, or when you don't address like why you're eating, or what's going on in your head, then that going to the gym isn't going to do anything, because skibbity toilet. Oh Lord, you sound like my son. Jesus help us. Anyway, so when I went to the gym, it was a punishment for me, so that to make others happy. I was like, I'm going to the gym. Why? To punish myself so that they can be happy? No, I'm not. And so it was like one of those things where it was like, you wanted to do it because like I wanted to go. I've always wanted to go to the gym, but also it's like, it's a really tough thing to explain. It really is. But anyways, so now I had weight loss surgery, but it doesn't change your mindset with food. So I've had this that's okay. Your child must be a 10-year-old boy named Ryan. So anyways, so this whole gym journey is like, I don't enjoy working out. I don't like it. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to sweat because I just don't want to. I'm not interested. It's just not something that interests me, right? I do know that moving helps you get healthy. Absolutely. But until I fixed the trauma here with my connection with food, there was no benefit to me to going to the gym, because I was only doing it because I thought I had to, because society told me, or because people told me. It was never because I wanted to, but somehow you don't want, like, do you know what I mean? Like it's really hard, and there's a trauma there that's like, number one, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of going to the gym. My body is not worthy. Like, you're calling me fat and ugly my whole life. Why should I go to the gym and treat it well? Because everybody's told me my whole life that you're a piece of shit. You're not worthy. You're fat and you're ugly and you're good for nothing. Like, you're a girl. You'll never be a PI. You can't sell the makeup because you're fat and ugly. You can't do this because you're fat and ugly. Like, you can't possibly. I was like, oh, maybe I could be a makeup artist, like, full time. You can't do that when you look like you. Like, you can't do, like, literally Jamie Kern Lima, the founder of It Cosmetics, she sold her company to L'Oreal. But before she did, everybody told her no one's going to buy makeup from someone who looks like you. And I was like, that is my story. And you can't be a private investigator because you're a girl. And so all of these things in your head, and like when you grow up with like abuse and sexual assault, rape, trauma, there's like all of these things that you deal with, and all the gaslighting and all the lying and the manipulating, and people just treat you like crap. And so as you get older, you're worthless. Like, you are not a worthy person. So why go treat your body well in the gym and, build muscle and really give yourself, like, do you know what I mean? So it's hard. And so anyways, I said all that to say that I decided this is why my journey is a little bit backwards, because I decided after I lost 160 pounds, I'm starting at the gym. And it's interesting to me because now I'm not doing it to be skinny. It's not like, I got to go to the gym so I can lose weight. Now it's like, I get to go to the gym because I get to like make my body stronger. So now it's not about being skinny. Now it's about, being strong. I don't want to be like that everybody telling me like, you need to be skinny. If you would be so pretty, if only you lost 100 pounds or whatever. And it's awful that we treat each other like that. We treat ourselves like that. And have you ever, this is a really good question that I often find myself asking, why are we so willing to believe someone when they say you're fat, you're ugly, you're worthless, you're whatever you are, we're like, you're absolutely right. They say it the first time and we're like, yep, that's true. That's true. But 100 people could say, you're so beautiful. I love your smile. I love your eyes, whatever. And we don't hear it. We don't believe it. And why is that? Do you know what I mean? And so I feel like when you have that trauma, that unresolved, like, you know, worthlessness in your brain that a lot of us have, like, I didn't realize until I started the podcast a year and a half ago, that like women don't, I mean, men too, but I'm a woman, so I relate to women, so that's who I'm talking to. But like women, we do not have confidence in ourselves. A lot of women don't. Like we date the guys who treat us like crap. We stay in relationships where we're not getting treated well. We deal with things from people that we really shouldn't. And why do we do it? And it's because we don't feel worthy of anything else. And there was if you listen to my podcast, it's called The Dating Detectives. We had a guest on the episode yesterday. It's much easier to believe the negative stuff, but why? Right? That's so interesting. So the guest we had on the podcast yesterday said one of the hardest things I had to do was choose myself. And so she said, when I chose myself, it was the loneliest thing in the world, but I had to do it. And once I chose myself, like once you finally give in and say, that's it, I'm giving all of it up, I'm choosing myself, then everything comes full circle and you attract the right people, the right situations, the right circumstances. And I thought it was really interesting. So that's why, like, I have a couple people ask me, like, why do you share so much online? Like, why do you always post in bathing suits? Like, you know, you're just out there just like showing your body. Listen to me. If there's a woman out there like me, so I imagine me, like I want to be the woman for somebody else that I wanted, that I needed for myself when there was nobody on the internet like that. There was nobody online that was real. Everybody that I followed was influencers and they were selling makeup and their skin was perfect and they didn't show their flaws. They didn't show that, like, you know, their skin is jacked up, or they would not make a video if they had a pimple. Like they would not show their body. They would not talk about weight. They would always, you know, try to be the perfect whatever. And so if I go online and I say, hey, look at my fat rolls, look at my whatever, you know, and you show like the real you, then it kind of inspires other people to, kind of like if someone's really mean online. I noticed that if someone's mean in my comments, other people will be mean also, like they'll follow suit. But if nobody is mean, then it takes that one person to like start that trend, right? So everybody's real nice until you have one person who's willing to be mean, and then someone else will do that. It's the same thing with positivity. If you have one person willing to show up and be positive, then you can, you know, people will follow suit. And I think it's really interesting. And so I don't know, that's kind of why I share like the ins and outs and the depth of my weight loss journey. And people have asked me, they're like, you're not embarrassed that like you take weight loss meds. You're not embarrassed that you had weight loss surgery. Like, you're not embarrassed that you have loose skin. You're not embarrassed. And I'm like, no, like, what do you want me to do? Like, does anybody else pay my bills but me? So what is the shame gonna do? I'm tired of shame. I'm tired of feeling embarrassed. I'm tired of, you know, feeling like I have to please other people. So, but the tongue can no man tame is an unruly. Yes. Praise. Yes, it is. But it's so easy for people to be mean to each other, right? Like people are just so mean so quickly. And it's not nice. Like I get it all the time. You know, people say mean things all the time and they're like, oh, you know, you're so annoying. You're so loud. You're so obnoxious. Look, if I'm too much, by all means, go find less, my friend. Go find less. Right. And so it's kind of like, if you look at it like that, it's like, wow. So it's kind of interesting. Like if you just kind of change the perspective a little bit and realize that you are worthy of everything. And so I'm hoping that by adding like my gym journey, first of all, it's accountability, right? So every time I go to the gym, I can post about it. You remember how like back in the day, everyone used to share when they ate a meal, they took a picture of it and posted it on Instagram. People don't really do that so much anymore, but that's going to be me at the gym. And I feel like it's going to be something that something else that I can share for women like me, like the plus size girl, the loud girl, the girl who's not confident and, you know, needs to find that confidence, the woman who needs a sense of community, you know, to connect with. So, oh, that's what I said. I was like, why am I I told my doctor today, I said, I'm 40 and just now like realizing that I am worthy. Like, why did it take 40 years? And what she kind of made a point. She was like, well, based on what you're doing, like on social media and stuff, she goes, you might have had to wait 40 years, but because of you, a young lady is not going to wait 40 years. And so you don't realize the impact you can have on others just by showing up for them. And so anyways, that's why everybody's like, oh my God, every time I go to like a birthday party or, you know, talk to one of my friends or my neighbors or something, they're like, oh my God, I just always see your videos. You're just always making videos on the internet. You're always on the social media. You're always there. It's just, is that all you do? Yeah. First of all, it's my full-time job. Yeah. So yeah, this is all I do. But also what you see is me like all the time. And I'm here and I'm like in your face. You're like, oh my God, again, she's doing another video. She's talking about the stupid makeup again. First of all, that's what you see. But what I see is my emails and my texts that say, girl, I feel so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I got the greatest compliment at work today. And someone complimented my skin and it was really the makeup. And, you know, my husband thinks I look beautiful and all of these things. And so I think it's really cool that like the perspective is so different. So anyways, if you are someone who's struggling or whatever, come here because like, you come here because you have a place here. Okay, so I'm the quiet, bullied girl, but I love to hear how gorgeous, loud gals struggle with the same stuff. Linda, it's interesting, right? So this is what a lot of people misunderstand about me. So when I was growing up, like I was always the ugly fat girl, right? Like that was just what everybody called. Nobody wanted to date me. The girls didn't want to hang out with me because they were embarrassed. And like the guys would even growing up, like the guys would get what they want from you. Like they'd have sex with you, but then they'd sneak you out the back door. Like they don't want nobody to see you, right? Because it's embarrassing if they hook up with a fat girl or if they're dating a fat girl, they don't like it, right? And so it's like a stigma, right? Like you can't be with a fat girl. Like that's, you know, disgusting, whatever. And so what you learn is that and this is a joke that I've made before, and then I haven't really told it very much since because I think it's kind of maybe insensitive now looking back on it. But I was like, when you're fat and when you're ugly, because that's what everybody told me I was, when you're fat and ugly, you got to be funny. And so that was my thing. And I was like, well, I'm gonna be sarcastic. Like, you got to be funny. And so trying to be funny and like witty and loud, that was my way of like covering up the fact that like, if I was obnoxious and like made fun of myself, no one else could. And so that's why when I talk about like being in college and my college professor saying you can't be a private investigator because you're a girl, it was in the middle of my class and it embarrassed me. And so if you're fat and ugly, if you're not pretty, you got to be funny. And so I said, well, I'll make my own rules and be a private dick. Or no, he said I couldn't be on the SWAT team. And I said, I'll be a private dick and made a joke, whatever. And so that's how everything kind of came about. And so I feel like a lot of my personality is me trying to overcompensate for, like, I want to be loud and in your face so that you can't stand over me and bully me and make fun of me, right? So it's kind of one of those like defense mechanisms that I've always used. And now, like I always thought I was confident. Like I was like, you know, you can call me fat, whatever, but I'm still going to tell you off. So I felt confident in that way, but I never loved myself. So there's like a way to be confident in front of everybody and be like, yeah, like, you know, this is how we're going to act and this is what we're going to say. I'm so confident. Look at me. But then you cry yourself to sleep at night and people think that you're just like, you know, this loud, confident person. And they're like, ew, like, you know, and so you kind of create this sense of like fake, like it's not altruistic. Like how you're acting is not altruistic. Yes, you take back your power. And so that's what I think is the most interesting. So I've lost 160 pounds, but I gained myself. That sounds so cliche and stupid, but I really did. And I didn't and people are still bullies. Like, I have a lot of followers, and people can be really mean, and, you have this big audience, and there's, it's just statistics. Like, you have this many people, so many of them are going to be mean. It's fine. But what's interesting is that, like I've told you guys before, some people have kind of been really, really mean on the internet. And I kind of get a little wild hair up my ass. And I'm like, who are you? And I kind of find out a little bit about them. And what I find out is that they're just like, they're nobody. Like they have horrible, like, arrest records and, like, all these things that they've gone through in their life. Like, they're not perfect, basically, right? So here you are, like, we are all trying to be perfect and fit into this society of imperfect people, but everybody's pretending to be perfect. And so we're trying to pretend to be perfect to fit in with them. But everybody is, like, people have called me somebody called me a piece of shit because I was scared of a lizard on a video. And they're like, you're a piece of shit. Your husband, like, you don't deserve your husband. And I was like, that's a little, okay, like, one of these things is not like the other. But it was really interesting, right? And so I found, like, when I looked that person up, like, they had, like, bankruptcies and arrests for, like, prostitution and child abuse and all these things. And I'm like, if I'm scared of a lizard and I'm, like, yelling at my husband, come get the lizard. And they're like, you need to leave your husband alone. He just got home from work. And I'm like, if that's the worst thing about me, like, I'll take it. Like, I would never trade lives with you ever. But anyways, I just think it's really interesting. But so when it comes to, like, first of all, the whole thing with, like, finding a lump in my breast and being kind of, nervous about that. And then also starting my gym journey. So it's like in the same day, it's kind of like you're scared because you have this health thing going on, but also you're doing this really cool thing for yourself. So I don't know. I'm interested in hearing the experiences of others. So just because I'm loud and obnoxious and, kind of boisterous doesn't mean that I haven't cried myself to sleep at night because I'm hurt by what somebody has said. So I just think it's the way that our defense mechanisms are just different. Like, the way that we, deal with things is different. Did your experiences with other people doubting you while having so much empathy while also being able to give you an advantage in the PI field? I think, well, okay, so in the PI, like, as a private investigator, right, because my college professor told me that I couldn't because I was a girl, and that's the only reason I did. I never wanted to be a PI. He told me I couldn't, so I said, watch me do it, and I did. That's the only reason. And so I feel like because I had that doubt in my head for, 18, almost 19 years I've been a PI, I've always had that belief in my head that I shouldn't be doing this job. I'm not good enough to be doing this job. I shouldn't be doing this job. And so although I was good at it, I could never experience that pride that you take in doing a job. And, like, I was good at surveillance. I love it. I think it's fun and sometimes really adrenaline, and I'm an adrenaline junkie. And so I love that stuff. Like, I think it's cool. And that stuff really did help me in the field, but it did not do anything for my self-esteem. It did help me do a better job because I was like, now I have to prove myself. Like, I'm going to show everyone that, yes, I can. And I did that, but at what cost, right? So I spent 19 years isolated in my car, and I'm a workaholic. So I work 6-7 days a week on surveillance, and these surveillances are 4 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 18 hours. Like, you never know how long a surveillance is going to be. And so when you're isolated for that long in a car with blacked out windows, nobody knows you're there, and you're just watching people, you're by yourself all day, every day for, like, years and years and years. It becomes like this, you're enclosed in, like, this prison, right? And so you're left with your thoughts, and the self-doubt creeps in and all of these things. So it just kind of builds and builds. And so now I feel like I've learned that hurt people. Like, that's the bottom line. There's nobody that is happy. Nobody that is genuinely happy looks at someone and goes, you're a piece of shit. Like, nobody happy does that, right? Like, you cannot, if you are saying that about someone else, there's an apraxia somewhere in your like situation with your, like, feelings to your brain or something. Like, something is broken. Because nobody, like Elle Woods on Legally Blonde, she says, happy people just don't shoot their husbands, right? Like, it's true. Like, your happy people are not just going to be like, oh, well, she's fat or she's whatever. And so you learn a lot about that stuff. I became reclusive. If no one could see me, no one could call me names or lower my self-esteem. Yes, exactly. And that's one reason I loved surveillance too, was because no one could see me. I didn't have to see nobody else. Like if they didn't see me, then they couldn't make fun of me. Like I didn't have a lot of friends, but nobody could make fun of me. And then the friends that I did have, they're good friends, I guess, but there's just like there just comes a time when people have to choose sides. Like I went through a divorce, and then I kind of had to give up some friends just because I knew that it was difficult for them to, it's just they're friends with both of us, and then it makes it weird. And so I kind of tried to, step away to kind of make that situation easier for ultimately my son. Like I didn't want any issues for him. But yeah, it's really tricky. Makes me want you to look up my childhood bully. Oh no. Ginger kills cancer for cells. What? Oh, ginger, really? I didn't know ginger. I know ginger will cure a tummy ache real fast. Real fast. I know I was so sick one time for like a week and I couldn't get rid of it. And my boyfriend at the time, he's like, drink some ginger tea. And I did, and it was gone like that. It was wild. Hard on my psyche just watching all that darkness. It is really, that's one thing that sucks too. Like in the PI world, like you do see a lot of, like it's not bad. Like you're not witnessing like crimes and murder. Well, a lot of crimes, but not like murders and anything like crazy like that. But it is sad that what you witness and the things that you see and the things that people do when they don't think anybody's watching. And I've watched so many women. I've watched so many, and men too, but more women, hurting their children, and, like to the point where I've had to call somebody, like I've had to call law enforcement and be like, hey, but I'm just like I'm glad I was there, at the time. But people think that they're, nobody can see them. And yes, we can. Wow. You lost 185 pounds. Good for you. Yes. Learn to love and honor yourself. That is so important, but it's so hard. It's so hard. And you think, and also I want to say that like I've seen them straight up like go nuts on their kids, throw them on the ground. Like it's so bad what these people do when they don't think nobody's watching. I feel like a lot of people think that, and I thought for the longest time, I was like, I just want to get skinny. Once I get skinny, everything's fine. And it's not. Like I lost 160 pounds and I look in the mirror and now I have body dysmorphia. I see a 300-pound girl. I see the 300 pounds. When I look in the mirror, that's what I see. When I go shopping, I buy an extra large. I wear a small medium. And I buy an extra large, and every time I have to return it, and every time I buy an extra large, and the next time I buy an extra large, and then I have to return it, and the next time I buy an extra large, you can't, like, it doesn't go away, and you still have like that trauma. But whenever I guess what I learned the most was that like when you listen to yourself, and like when you're willing to listen to yourself and not doubt yourself so much, there's so much empowerment in that, and we don't give ourselves enough credit. We're like, I'm probably wrong, like, I think he's probably cheating on me because this and this, but I'm probably wrong. And you don't realize that, no girl, that's your intuition like screaming at you, like follow that, right? But we never trust ourselves with anything. Mostly people were his friends first. Yep, same. Also, people went to church with, even people I knew long before him who sided with him. Linda, that's so common too. And I'm so sorry that happened. And it really sucks, especially in divorce. I was willing to give up everything. I was like, you can have him. I'm not fighting. I refuse to fight in front of my son. Like, I will not, my son will never know. He will, like, even though my son's parents are divorced, like me and his dad are divorced, like my son will never know the stress. He will never feel torn. He will never feel like he has to choose at any time. Like I will always give, like wherever you need, like we have a schedule, like every other weekend and every Wednesday or whatever. But anytime Ryan wants to go to his dad's, you just call him up. If he can take you, you can go over there. I don't care. Like it really messes with your head. I lost 75 pounds, and how do you deal with your insecurity? I miss how much I loved my big self. It is so interesting that you say that, Martha. Okay, so here's the deal. And I appreciate that, because when I was a bigger girl, like when I was 300 pounds, I was like, I'm fine. Like, girl, I love myself. Like, I am who I am. Like, I look how I look. I don't know what to tell you. And there's like this love that you have, but then like you lose this weight and all of this, it's because it's different. It's now it's like, it's a whole nother set of insecurity. Now it's I have looser skin, or now it's, I have, whatever it is, like things are more obvious now. And like, I don't like I can see how wide my pelvis and hip area is, and then I know that I'm not going to get any smaller than that. Like that's like, I can see how wide I am right there, and I never saw that before because I was very heavy in the belly. I was very apple shaped. And so like, and just different things, like everybody has their own different insecurities, but there's different things that you notice. And so it's just a whole nother set of insecurities, right? Like, it's kind of like when you're with somebody and you're like, oh, but this other person looks really nice. Oh, he's so nice, and he's so cute, and he drives a nice car, and he has a house, and all of these things, and he has a boat or whatever. The grass ain't always greener, because when you go to there, then it's just a whole nother set of problems. It might not be the same problems, but there's still going to be problems. And so those insecurities don't ever go away, but it's a matter of, like, I started in therapy, which I was like, I don't need therapy. Like, that's stupid. But I did start seeing a therapist, and I got to like the meat and potatoes of why I'm so insecure. And it's the rape, it's the abuse, and when I talk about rape and abuse, which, trigger warning, I'm really sorry if you guys, I understand if you don't want to listen to this. So in my home, there was abuse from my dad, and my dad was a drill instructor at boot camp. And, 40 years ago, that was just discipline, right? It was just discipline. And looking back now, I'm like, that was like holy bananas. That was abuse, 100%. But you don't call it that. Like, you don't say it's abuse. Like, my family we were a Christian family. We went to church, and that's what we did. We loved the Lord, and he was just a very disciplinary, like, God-fearing man. And that's how, he raised his kids or whatever. And I'm like, not like, looking back, I'm like, if anybody did that to my son, they would be in jail. Like, that's abuse. Like, that is 100% abuse. And then, but you can't call it that. And so when I was 13, trigger warning, this is like, not if you don't like this stuff, like sexual assault, whatever. When I was 13, my very first sexual experience was a rape by an older boy. And in my mind, like like in society, I guess, people say, don't say that word. It's not rape. Come on, you can't say that. Because a lot of people in our minds, we think something like rape is back alley. You got punched in the face. You were brutalized. You're paralyzed. Like, they slit your throat, whatever. That's rape, right? But that's not actually the legal definition of rape. Rape is when you say no and they do it anyways. That's called rape. But you don't call it that, right? So now it's like, oh, don't say that. Was it really? And so for 30 years, I didn't call it rape. I didn't, like, for 27, however many years, you don't call it rape. Like, that's not what it is. And so we kind of like skate over what things are really called. And so it all adds up to that insecurity, right? And so that's where my anxiety comes from. And that's where my all these insecurities, you don't fit, like, that doesn't get fixed. Especially, I was born in 1984. I'm 40. So back in that day, like, that's just not how it was. Like, that's just not how it went. And so now, coming into us, everybody's a little bit more sensitive as a society, and we're everything more accepting, and all of these things. But it's like you're starting to see that, like, that there's a name for that. And so now it's like, that really did happen to me. Like, that really was not okay. And so when you hold on to that for so long, and you're able to kind of get to the meat and potatoes of why you're so insecure, and why, like, you're like, I was the ugly fat girl. Everybody told me, from I was little to I was 9, 10, 11, as young as I was, like, until 38 years old, like, everybody said fat and ugly. But then when this boy raped me, and then that was like my first sexual experience, and then you go on to other, like, after, if that's your standard for what a intimate relationship with someone looks like, then going forward, it's like if a boy wants to have sex with you, then he likes you or whatever. And so you get these standards that are set and nobody changes them because that's just that's how you learn, is by experiences, right? And so we all have these experiences that shape us into how we think about things. And so it's really interesting how that can affect something as simple as weight loss, and how, well, my body is not worthy. And it all goes back to the abuse and the rape and all of those things, and those people treating me that way and basically setting an example for me at that young age to say, this is what your worth is. And so you just grow up thinking that's your worth, and no one tells you differently, because that you can't call it. Nobody can call it. Everybody says, don't call it that. It wasn't abuse. He was just disciplinarian. Like, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, so we got to break the cycle. And so I just think it's really interesting how things like that really shape you. So back to going to therapy, I thought it was so stupid. I was like, nobody needs therapy. Like, that's so stupid and so sensitive, right? But it's like, listen, talk about, like, when you're in therapy, they kind of, you get really into the nitty gritty, like things you don't think about. And they're like, well, where do you think that comes from? Like, why do you think you're not? And I'm like, because in society, we just don't have confidence in ourselves. Like, that's just how it is. And we're like, why? Because people in my generation, like people in my age, that was just how it was. And so you're kind of, over the years, you learn to accept these things as gospel. Like, that's just what it is, right? And so I just think it's really interesting. What do you think could help with my confidence when I think I'm fat? Oh, I'm so sorry. I know that feeling so much. The problem is, whenever we feel that way, there's nothing, like, you can't be like, oh, I'm so ugly, I'm so fat. And your friends will go, girl, stop it. No, you're not. Like, stop saying that. Stop thinking that. That's not true. And it's like, but to you, it's true. To you, that is your truth. Like, that is your absolute truth, is that I'm fat and I'm unworthy. And so how do you get through that? And the answer is you have to, in my opinion, I feel like therapy and going deep, and just based on my experience, going deep into, like, okay, this is how you feel. Why do you feel that way? Okay, but why do you feel that way? Okay, but why do you feel that way? Until you get to those meat and potatoes where it's like, there it is. That's where it started. Where does it start, right? So when you're a baby and you don't just come out of your mama's belly like walking, right? It's something you learn because that's what everybody else is doing. And everybody's like, come on, let's start walking. And they kind of like, they train you, like they teach you how to walk, and that's what you do. And then talking, and you learn from being around other people. Like, babies don't just come out speaking English. Like, if your parent speaks Spanish, then you're going to learn Spanish. It's the same thing. If your parents are like, you're a piece of crap, I'm going to beat you every day and like throw you on the ground because that's what I'm going to do to you, that you left what you learned. That is your worth. And so when nobody teaches you otherwise, and everybody says, oh, that's just how he is. He's just very strict. You know, he's a drill instructor at the boot camp. Like, that's just how he is, right? It's the military. They're very hard. And so they make excuses for it, and that's just how it is. And so nobody teaches you otherwise. So you have to find something in you that is willing to do the work that you don't want to do, that sounds stupid, that feels ridiculous. Like, when I'm talking to my therapist, I'm like, I feel so stupid right now. Like, I should know this. Like, I should, this should not be something that I'm having to struggle with. And if you're willing to talk to somebody about it, and I think there's something to therapy and just diving deep into the core. And also it's about, like, being willing to do the work on the daily. Like, whenever I do therapy, they give you like tools and resources. Like, my therapist is like, next time you think this, also think this, right? So one of the things that my therapist has told me is, if you're willing to say X, Y, and Z bad things about yourself, you have to, like, what is the Newton's law, where it's the something with force equal but opposite for whatever. So equal but opposite. So if you're willing to say 3 things negative about yourself, you also have to be willing to say 3 things positive about yourself. That's balance, right? So you can say all the bad things you want about yourself, but you have to say the equal amount of good things. So if you're going to accept when someone says you're ugly, you have to also be willing to accept when they say you're beautiful. And so, but we're not willing to do that. And so doing that work is really, really hard because you have to choose yourself. And choosing yourself is lonely. Kind of like that quote. I said it on the podcast too. I said, people say, there's a quote that says, stand up for what you believe in, even if it means you stand alone. It's the same thing for yourself. Like you have to choose yourself and stand up for yourself, even if it means you are by yourself. Because by yourself, in my opinion, in my unprofessional, totally bullshit opinion, you're the only one you can trust. At the end of the day, you cannot trust one single soul. Not anybody, not your mama, not anybody. You can trust yourself and the Lord. That's it. Like you can trust yourself. That's it. That's literally it. You know what you're going to do. You are in control over your actions, and that's it. And so it's like you have to be willing to do the work, and it's not, someone's not going to come along to you and say, come on, honey, let's go to therapy. Like you got to get up. You have to be willing to talk, and you have to be willing to be vulnerable. That's it. That's all there is to it. Passive aggressive in it. Hey girl, it's so good to see you tonight. You look beautiful. Yeah, I think that therapy is a really great way to kind of figure out like, what can you do differently? Like, it's not everybody else's fault. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, I am this way just because everybody else was an asshole to me. They were all meanie heads. It's my fault too. I take accountability for letting them make me feel that way, right? Like, I'm in control of my feelings. If someone says something nasty to you, like, you can choose not to accept that. But we don't. We choose to accept it as gospel, right? You can choose to say, no, that's not true. Goodbye. And we don't. We don't do that. We don't. Judge Judy, okay, goodbye, get out of my courtroom, goodbye. We don't say that. We say, oh, you're right. I am garbage. Like, I am ugly and I am all of these things, but that's a choice that we make. And so we have to start choosing like ourselves, right? And so it's really, really interesting when you get down into it. Speaking on it releases it. Yes, I agree. That taught me to understand my emotions, that it was okay to address issues. The younger generation isn't afraid of therapy. It's true. And as much as sometimes I think it's underrated, I guess, how like today's generations, they're very sensitive, and you can't say that because that's hurting my feelings. But also there's something to it. Like, people are standing up for themselves more than ever, saying, hey, that's not okay with me that you said that, and I don't like it. And it can come off as a little bit sensitive and a little bit magoo, but at the same time, it's very like, it's not true, right? Like if the same thing happened to me now in today's society that happened then, this kid would be in jail and he would be held accountable for what he did to me. And I bet there were other girls that it happened to. But because I didn't say anything, I could have protected someone. I could have protected someone else if I had told my mom but that's just, you don't call it that. You don't say that. And I shouldn't have had boys over at my house anyways. My friend brought her boyfriend and he brought his friend, and it was my fault, right? It was my fault. It's all my fault. And so no matter what situation you're in, like it's not your fault, right? It's awful. Yes, you hide behind the weight. Exactly. You're giving me food for thought during a dark time. I'm so sorry you're going through a dark time. Just know that it don't rain forever, y'all. It does not rain forever, and it does not rain forever, and it is never raining everywhere. It does not rain forever, and it is never raining everywhere. Just keep that in mind. I don't know where I heard that. Y'all don't know where the hell I heard that, but I need to write that down because that just popped in my head all willy-nilly. But anyways, I did good at the gym today. I did legs and I did abs, but it was my first day. So I was just going really, really light. And then tomorrow I'll do like arms, and I want to start conditioning my body. But like I did I haven't gone to the gym since I was probably 100 pounds heavier. And when I was on the treadmill, I was like, oh, heel toe. Like we were just going. Like I was just going. I was on the incline. I've never done the incline. I was lazy. I didn't want, and I was just going. My heart rate was like 166. I'm like, this is great. And I'm like, we can keep going. I wanted to go on forever and ever. It was really good. I'm really excited to build my strength and just build strength, not worry about a number on a scale, but like, it's easy to say now that I've lost the weight, right? But if you're struggling with low self-esteem or confidence, or, you know, you just need a place to be heard, go to my DM. Like, you're my friend. If you ever need like advice or like just, I don't know, I guess that's hard to say because I get a lot of messages, but if you ever need someone just to chat with, like, I don't mind chatting. You know what I mean? Do you have your lips done? I do. I get filler in my lips, but I'll tell you hold on, I'm gonna take this off. I put on this lipstick and it has like an illuminator in it, so it's like a little bit glossy, and the gloss helps to bring the light to it, and it makes your lips look bigger. Look, I'll show you. It's really cool. Oh my God. Hey, Tiffany. I'm sorry. I missed some of the comments. So I don't always catch them all. I'm sorry. You can start with social worker or behavioral therapist and then level up. Yes. Yeah, you don't have to, and don't worry about getting like super duper deep like at first. You can just, you know, work your way in. And that's what therapy's for. Like, they'll work with you and just whenever you're ready, you know. Yes, Gina, exactly. Okay, so I have filler in my lips to make them a little bit more plumpy. So I have a downturned mouth like that. And so at first I did the lip flip where they just kind of like tuck your lip up so that it's not so, because it was making my cheeks look fuller. But then the next time they were like, why don't you just do some filler? And I was like, okay. And it turned out really pretty. And then when you add like this gloss lippy it's called Royal. This is the makeup brand that I sell. You guys have to try it. It's really pretty. When I put on the gloss and then, hold on. See how the gloss is like really sheer? And then I put this shimmer on top of it. And it catches the light. And it makes your lips go. See what I mean? Isn't that so pretty? I love this combo. I was like, that color's so dark, I'm not wearing it. And then I put it on one day and I was like, I'm stupid. Because it's really, really pretty. Oh, in Kansas! We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. Rose gold illuminator. Yes! Rose gold is so pretty too. I like the cream illuminators a lot. This is the rose gold she's look. It's one of my favorites too. I'm almost out. Rose gold is like this really pretty. I like that they're see? Oh, that okay, now I'm obsessed. Yeah, Amanda, that's Royal and Sunshine State. This has been like my everyday go-to. It's gorgeous. And then I use nude on my cheekies. And look at that oh, so pretty. So pretty. Is your makeup brand gender exclusive? What do you mean? Anybody can wear makeup all willy-nilly. It don't matter what gender you are. And put on some makeup. I think no makeup is gender exclusive. Anybody can wear any makeup. Anybody, your mama, do whatever you want. For those who don't want to do therapy but need a good mood boost, try an easy hobby, gardening, going outside, touching. Yes. Okay. That's a really good point that you make there. So try an easy hobby, gardening, going outside, touching earth, and getting sunshine, vitamin D will boost your mood. 100%. And also in therapy, that's called grounding, like actually feeling the ground, touching the grass, feeling the air, feeling the sunshine on your skin. You're grounding and you're just like not thinking of anything else but what are you feeling? What are you smelling? What are you hearing? What are you seeing? Like, you know what I mean? The colors and the sounds, and you just like close your eyes and, well, not the seeing part, you have to open your eyes for that. But you can really start to, like, that's one of the tools they teach you, or that they've taught me in therapy, is like, just ground yourself. Find yourself and find that ground. Just touch the earth. Like, just go outside on your driveway and like put your hands down, or in the grass, put your hands down on the ground and feel the warmth and feel, or the wetness, or if it's been raining or whatever, and just feel what it feels like. And it's like, what do they call it when you're like meditation? And getting rid of weeds can get some aggravation. Yes. Amanda is literally like a farmer of like all kinds of, Amanda, are you you're a well, not a farmer. What do you call it? A gardener, I guess? But you make all your food. You grow all your food. Anyways, it's a really good grounding is really, really good. It's really helpful. And when you're meditating, like you can even be laying in bed. Like one of the coping mechanisms or whatever is like meditation, to kind of get in your head and just be like, kind of, you know, thinking the thoughts that you want to happen. Like, what do you call that? Manifesting, whatever. Anyway, so when you wake up in the morning, one of the things that they've recommended to do is like, before you do anything, my first thing is pick up my phone, check my email, check my social medias, and answer any messages, and like just get right to work. Like I don't give myself a break at all. And so what they've said to do is, before you do anything, like when you open your eyes and it's time to get up, before you put your feet on the floor, or even after whatever, just sit on your bed for a minute. Feel the sheets, feel the comforter, feel the pillow. You can feel where the warmth of your body was, and feel the cool of where your body wasn't touching, and just kind of like feel it, and just sit for like 3 or 4 minutes and just kind of feel. Look around you. What do you smell? Do you hear anything outside? Like, does the garbage truck come early? What are you hearing? Do you hear your neighbors leaving? They're going to work. Like all of those things. And it's really cool because although I haven't gotten in the habit of doing it yet all the time, but when I do it, it's like, and everything is just so like quiet. And it's not about like what's going on in my head and my anxiety and like what's going to happen next and what's happening today and what do I need to do today and all of these things. It's very grounding. It's very peaceful. It's really cool. Working towards a homestead. What does that mean? We call it a farm now because you grow like literally all your food. Grounding can help with jet lag too. Oh, I'm trying that next time I have to go to LA for the podcast, because that flight is like over 4 hours. It's so long. Walking barefoot, touching the dirt with your hands happens immediately. Yep, it sure does. Anyway, so hold on. I got my snooze button. I hit my snooze button 3 times. I'm grounding myself with the snooze button every day, 16 times. My alarms for my wake up in the morning is like 6 a.m., 6:05, 6:10, 6:15, 6:20, 6:25, 6:30, because I will sleep through all of them. And then I have them set up for a snooze. So like if the alarm goes off and then so now I have like 20 different alarms that also have all these snoozes. So I can't, that's me. I'm that type. There's 2 types of people in this world, and I'm that one. Yeah, but definitely try the grounding thing. It really helps with stuff like that. But anyway, so yeah, I'm a little bit scared of the lumps that she found in my breast, but I don't know. I'm sure it'll be fine. And, you know, I'm just, you know, going to pray and see what happens. It's hard to worry until there's something to worry about, but also like, she's like, oh, it could be nothing. And I'm like, now I'm worried. Cause when a doctor says, like, they're supposed to say that. And like, I don't know, I wish doctors could be like, you know what, this sounds really bad, like you should go get this checked out right away. And then I would know to be appropriately worried. But when they're like, no, this is probably fine. And then you're like, okay, now I know I need to panic. Yes, you give up. You just give up on the snooze. Like, just give up. Just get out of bed. Who did the, was it Mel Robbins? Who did the thing where it's like, okay, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, lift off. And you're like, in the morning, you go 1, 2, 3, and put your feet on the floor. And it's like, it's called 1, 2, 3, lift off or something. I think it was Mel. I don't remember, but it's really effective if you do it every morning and you're like, okay, I gotta get up. 1, 2, 3, boom, no excuses. Just once you hit 3, your feet hit the floor. And it's a good habit to get into. I have multiple ones. They're just fatty tissue. That's what she said, is that it could just be fatty tissue, but it wasn't here under the armpit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. Thank you. Amanda knows all of it because she reads all the good books. So it wasn't here under my armpit, and it wasn't in the breast tissue. It's right here. And they're like little, like little fatty, like little lumps or something. It's right. They're just little like bumpies. And she's like, I would just rather you go get it checked out. And I was like, yeah, that's probably smart. But I don't know. I have zero medical. I know how to put on a Band-Aid, and I have no medical, nothing. Don't ask me to save a life. Wait, really? I wonder if they can do that in Florida. Yeah, nodules. I'm going to call tomorrow. Because there's no way that like my doctor's like, oh, we found a lump in your breast. And they're like, oh, we have an appointment in 2 months. Like, fuck you, get out of here. Really? No way. That's insane. That's as much as I pay for insurance. Get out of here. Half my husband's paycheck goes to our insurance. It's crazy. It's wild. But yeah, they're just little. But she said they're also on this side a little bit. But she didn't want an ultrasound on this side. So that's why I feel like she was just trying to like make me feel better and be like, oh no, it's fine. I'm like, yeah, you have to say that. You have to say that. It's fine. Wait, what? Then it's going to be what it is. Yep. If it's something, it's going to be what it is. You know what? That's a really good point. I like it. If it is, then whether I know it's the not knowing part that's scary, right? Is the not knowing. Like, is that something to be worried about, or is this okay? And oh, so the doctor told me don't go for the mammogram and the ultrasound on the lumps at the same time because they will bill differently. So they will charge you out of pocket for the way they code it or something. So she said, go for the ultrasound first and then schedule the mammogram later. Holy crap. Every year when I go for my well woman visit, like the pap smear and stuff, so every once a year, but I'm always like feeling around, like, you know, they teach you how to do it like in the shower and stuff. So I'm constantly like feeling for stuff, but that wasn't anything that ever concerned me because it didn't feel crazy. But when your doctor's like, this on your boobs, and she's like, yeah, this needs it. And I'm like, oh no, scary. It's so scary. But for now, I'm going to focus on my new gym journey, focus on how I can serve others. And I want to be someone who can serve others with my own experiences. I was a girl who was lonely, sad, and depressed for so many years on surveillance. And I want to be the woman that I needed. You know what I mean? For somebody else. Like I wanted somebody real online, and all I found was these perfect girls, and they were perfect and they did their makeup perfect, and so I got really good at makeup, so I can do perfect makeup. In my opinion, I think it's pretty damn good, right? So I got good at the makeup because they were always perfect, but they never show you like the real stuff, and so you just think that you're a piece of crap because you're not as good as them. But we all shit our pants the same way. We all get the bubble guts and the gurgle guts and the Taco Bell guts, and we all shit our pants the same way, right? Fibroids are in your uterus, not your breast. Fibroadenoids are in the... Y'all, I did not... well... Do you answer DMs or is it a bot? I answer DMs, but if there's like... Sometimes when I go live on my social media, I have another Saint artist who helps me like with my messages and, you know, texts and stuff like that. But it's me. Like when I'm not on a live, like it's me. There's something on my Instagram. I don't know how to turn it off, but anytime someone comments on something on like a post, they get a message that says, thanks for adding to the conversation. Do you want more information? And some people are like, yes. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I have no other information. I don't know what to tell you. This is a auto thing. I don't know how to turn it off. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it came from. It's not me. But if we're having like a one-on-one conversation, it's probably me. Or if I'm live, then it's one of my assistants that's helping me. I started feeling kind of overwhelmed. Like I have OCD and ADHD, and so it was taking me like 3 and 4 days to get to my messages, and by the time I did, then there was like another slew, like it was a whole lot. And so I never wanted to do anything that was like super automated. It just didn't feel good to me. But my business did kind of boom, like it kind of exploded. So I do have some automations. Like when someone gets a color match for makeup, like when you type the word match for makeup, then you'll get a DM that says, hey, here's my color match form. And then when you submit that, you'll get a text and an email that says, hey, thanks for submitting this. You're beautiful. I will get right back to you. And so those are messages that I personally created to send automatically. But if we're like in a regular like if you ask a general question, like it's me answering, like it's not a robot. I wouldn't know how to train a robot. Isn't there that's how to train your dragon, not how to train a robot. So she said do the ultrasound first because she wants to know what these nodules are. And then she said do the mammogram later. So I think that's why she did the ultrasound first, because she wants to make sure this is fine. Mammogram first, ultrasound after. Really? Diagnostic versus routine. I'm going to ask my doctor, because if that's true, then I feel like she should maybe I should get a mammogram but I'm a registered ultrasound tech, and so you're basically an ultrasound doctor. You're a boob doctor, basically. And that's what I'm gonna. You're the boob doctor. So yeah. So no, if that's true, then I feel like yeah. But she told me, she said, get the ultrasound first because I want to know what those lumps are, and then she said schedule the mammogram later. But y'all are saying put the mammogram first, so I think that's really interesting. But if they do the mammogram, oh, I think that's why. Because whenever they do the mammogram, this area is not included or something. Because when they do the ultrasound, it's not the area where she found the lumps is not an area where they would do the imaging for the lumps or whatever. So the breast tissue is here. She said they scan here at the breast tissue and they scan here, but they don't scan like in your tank top strap, for instance, like this. They scan here. And so maybe that's why she said do the ultrasound first. I don't know. Boob doctor, Dr. Booby. I need your input, please, darling. Your professional input. They will do the ultrasound if they see something. And if your doctor ordered it, they're going to still do it, but then they can compare the two. Ah. Okay. Maybe. Y'all, I'm going to be a doctor by the time we finish this. Okay. Does that make more sense then? Because the lumps that she found are outside of the breast tissue and outside of this auxiliary, whatever area, what you call it. I'll message you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your kindness and you guys helping me kind of get through this. I'm just nervous. I guess I'm not scared. There's nothing to be scared of yet. And, until I'm not going to live my life scared, wondering what if, but I do every day, but I shouldn't. Oh, I can do what I eat in a day. I have some videos of stuff that I eat during the day, and then I don't edit them because I have ADHD, and then I don't forget. I just don't get to them. So I will do those for you. Okay. Well, I feel better now then. So anyways, okay, thank you guys. So I don't want to keep you too much later. I've already taken so much of your time, but thank you for hanging out with me. Axillary lymph node. Thank you. That's what it said. Can you guys tell I have zero medical knowledge whatsoever? I learned CPR 20 years ago. I think I know CPR, but other than that, I forget it. If I put on a Band-Aid, it's going to probably be crooked too. It's bad. I know nothing. Yeah, the ultrasound for these lumps or whatever. Thank you. I just got this today. It just came in. I need to wash it. It smells like cigarettes but I was wearing my gym clothes and I didn't want to be inappropriate. So here we are. Anyways, okay. I love you guys. I hope you have a good night. Get a color match for this makeup if you want. It's really, really pretty, and I will personally color match you and help you build a palette or whatever. Thank you so much. I really do enjoy them. I really enjoy, I don't have a big group of girlfriends. I never really have. Everybody always was like, ew, we don't want to be friends with you. And so that's my experience. That's kind of where I've lived all this time, Thank you so much, Linda. You're so sweet. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Only visualized on the mammogram. Wait, girl, okay, I'm gonna need to message because I don't understand. Yo no comprende. I'm so bad. Thank you, Miranda. Okay, I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful night, and thank you so much. If you have any tips for me, or you guys have a lot of booby knowledge, just message me and I will take all the unsolicited advice. Just send it on over. All the unsolicited advice you can come up with, I'll take it. And then if you guys are starting a gym journey, I just started my gym journey today. So if you're starting that, let's do it together. We can be gym. I have a walking pad and that hoop in my house, but I was like, no, girl, you need to go somewhere that is you're spending a couple hours, you're focusing on muscles and we're doing this. So Had a lump and it was nothing. Oh, praise God. I'm so glad. Thank you, Kim. It's good to see you. Okay, bye, Debbie. Okay, bye, you guys. I love you so much. Bye, Amber. This is Jem. Like Jem, like the what's her name? Jem, who am I thinking? What's her name? Jem. You know who I'm talking about. Anyways, no, like the gym, like treadmills, Planet Fitness. There's a Planet. I don't understand why they have Tootsie Rolls. That doesn't make sense to me, but it's fine. They're like, hey, listen, you can work out, treat yourself to a Tootsie Roll. And then they have like donuts and pizza and bagels and stuff. And I'm like, go off. Like, go ahead. I don't understand it, but it's fine. Oh, Jim and the holograms. Thank you. I'm not ready to talk about menopause. My doctor today is like, are you going to have more babies? And I'm like, well, we're kind of playing with fire. Like, we're not trying. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. And I'm like, but I'm also like 40. So, and she's like, girl, that doesn't matter. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm like a geriatric then, but whatever. We'll see. Yeah. Oh, gemstones. That's so funny. Okay. Good night, you guys. I love you so much. Bye.